What's up? So in today's video, I am talking about a subject a lot of people don't talk about. People talk a lot about diet and exercise and maybe a little mindset stuff, but never what's going on deep beneath the surface that really exacerbates weight and food struggles. And that is your emotions, your relations to your emotions, your belief systems, and so forth. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk about that layer deeper. And what's cool about this layer is it's the one that once it's shifted, everything else gets so much easier and so much second nature. So super excited to share this with you today. So I remember when I was struggling that I thought everything was straight up diet and nutrition. And then I'd follow motivational accounts and think, oh, it's mindset, it's motivation, it's sticking to something. And then I realized there is a lot beneath the surface that can cause our struggle with food or cause us to hold on to weight. So a little disclaimer before I go there, a big thing we talk about in our programs and in our work is that you don't have to have everything in your life healed or fixed to, have freedom, to have weight loss. When I stopped binge eating, after binge eating for a decade, I was stressed out. I lived on a couch for a little bit. I had failed entrepreneur multiple times. I think I was leaving a toxic relationship. There was a lot going on that was not healed in my emotional world, and I was still able to stop binge eating. So I just want to let you know, don't let this detour you. Don't feel like you have to have every emotional thing taken care of to stop binge eating. And it's really, really powerful to know and understand this stuff, because once you liberate yourself from, subconscious beliefs that weigh you down, from emotions that steal your power and have you go to food, things, transformation, life with food, weight release becomes so much easier. So the first one's pretty obvious. That's emotional eating, right? There's supportive emotional eating, like, hey, you want to feel good and energized, so eating food that supports you in doing that. Or hey, you want to feel grounded and calm, so eating a nourishing, meal that really grounds you and nourishes you. That is supportive emotional eating. The unsupportive emotional eating is when you haven't quite mastered how to be with yourself emotionally, how to be with your emotions, how to release those in more productive, supportive outlets besides numbing them with food. And if you're doing this, basically we have kind of this emotional charge that happens, right? You get triggered emotionally, it's up in this heightened state of emotion, and just as it's about to drop down, most people divert and escape, right? As you're going over the difficult part. So you might escape with food, procrastination, social media scrolling, drinking, whatever it is, right? If you're here, your choice of numbing and escape might be food. And the unfortunate side of this is those emotions don't go anywhere. You never, you never process them, right? And so they keep popping up. They keep popping back up. It's kind of like trying to shove a beach ball under the water, and you're squirming and you're pushing it down over and over. Eventually it explodes up in your face, and it can explode up in your face in not so cool of ways, right? That really impact your life. I'm going to give credit to Debbie Ford. That's where that analogy came from. But I think it's a really powerful one, because if we don't learn the art of being with, processing, dealing with our emotions, we are emotionally constipated, for lack of better terms, and we're walking through the world filled with all these unprocessed emotions. And of course we're going to emotionally, of course we're going to numb, of course we're going to distract. And beyond that, it keeps you disconnected from your true self, from your intuition, from that internal guidance system, because you're so kind of clogged up, for lack of better terms, and kind of gross to think about it that way, with all these unprocessed emotions. So big thing is you want to learn to be with yourself in these processes. Now that one might be a little more obvious, and maybe not, depends on kind of where you're at on your journey, but some other ones are a little bigger and a little less obvious. So, one side of things is sometimes weight or a certain struggle, like a food struggle, kind of acts as a barrier of protection around your life. So if you want nothing more than getting out of this struggle, you're probably listening to me what are you talking about? This isn't protecting me, it's hurting me. And I get on the surface, it looks like that. But for women who've maybe gone through a trauma, right, where they don't feel safe in the world, in their body, or maybe you haven't gone through a trauma necessarily, but you're nervous to put your work out in the world, or every time you lose weight, you go dating and you've gotten hurt, right? So there's this fear of abandonment or fear of putting yourself out there, or maybe there's belief of like, who am I to go out and do these things? And weight and food struggle, think about where it keeps you. It keeps you stagnant. It holds you back from doing those forward moving things. And here's the thing, forward moving things outside of your comfort zone is really scary, really uncomfortable. No matter how positive the change is, there's going to be resistance, there's going to be self-sabotage, and if you haven't healed some of those beliefs, if you haven't cultivated the feelings of safety and being able to be in the world, being able to be with your emotions, whatever that is, it's very easy to understand how you might go to food in those moments to keep that protection, to keep that wall around you, so to speak. This is a really big one for me with dating, and a really big one for me when I was scared on my entrepreneurial journey to put myself out there. I would like sit at home and eat and numb and isolate. And yes, I was binge eating. Yes, I was in a pattern, but ultimately, I was self-sabotaging myself from going out there and putting my work out into the world. Now, last but not least, and this is, I think, the biggest one, Marianne Williamson, I read her book a long time ago. I don't remember the exact quote, but the exact quote is about, our biggest fear as humans isn't necessarily about being inadequate, although that's one of them. It's actually fear of our own brilliance. It's fear of maybe who we will lose or what connection we will lose with our best friend that we partner with around fighting our fat or fighting our calories or whatever. It's fear of who will offend when we're in our highest and best self. It's fear of what's going to happen to my world around me when I truly am in my power. And this one's going to be a little more subconscious, right? It's not going to be as obvious as the other one. So, these are some of the deeper emotional reasons, some of the belief system reasons that stand in the way of us truly breaking out of food struggles, of us feeling safe in our bodies to release weight. And they are very important ones to work through and transcend. Now, once again, this stuff doesn't have to be perfectly healed for you to have results, but it's important to have this awareness. So before we do anything else, take a look in your own life. Like, is there an area you're playing safe, playing small? Is there an area you fear putting yourself out there? Is there an emotional situation that constantly triggers binge eating and so forth? If there is, this is a sign that there are some deeper things and deeper reasons that are causing the binge eating. And it's not the whole picture, right? There's physiological, there's your body, your brain. We talk a lot about that on the channel, but we don't always go here, and it's really important. So hope this was helpful. I know it can be a little confusing if you haven't navigated this space before. It's my favorite area to jam out on, my favorite area to support people on, and actually I think what we're the most brilliant at. So if you need support uncovering some of those emotional blocks, uncovering some of those things that are standing in the way of you and food freedom and ease with your food, then make sure to click the link below this video or the button or wherever it is, whatever it looks like. Get the free training that I made you. This training is going to support you in breaking out of this struggle, finding freedom, and really setting you up for a life of freedom and ease with your food. So go click that now and give this video a big thumbs up if it was valuable for you. Share it with someone who you think it would impact for the better or support them in any way. And as always, I'm constantly making videos every week. So if you liked this, be sure to come back here for new videos every week, and I will see you in the next video.